I'm Manuel Hernandez and welcome to Norwich City Central.
Hello everybody, Lewis, Norwich City Central. I hope you're all doing really well. Firstly, if you are new to Norwich City Central, please do consider hitting the subscribe button for consistent Norwich City content and follow the socials and the shop as well in the description. In this video, I'll be going through all the Norwich City deadline day news and all the transfer news as it is now deadline day. Which was always more exciting, I feel, as a kid, but in recent years it's not quite got that excitement, mainly because there's not Sky Sports reporters reporting outside the grounds with lots of fans around, and that kind of atmosphere has been gone in recent years. But yeah, going through all the deadline day news as well as previewing Norwich City's upcoming game against Millwall, 6 o'clock on Tuesday at the Den. And I remember going to Millwall in our promotion winning season, and that was just a magical away day. But let's hope Norwich City get a similar outcome. But yeah, let's firstly start with the deadline day news. Of course, when Norwich City got relegated in July, we were really worried that we'd lose our best players and potentially Daniel Farke as well, and it would be a struggle to get back up. But it's been brilliant that Norwich City have been able to keep all their youngsters in the summer transfer window, and it looks set that we're going to continue keeping all of our players as well. And to consider Max Aarons, who is easily a top 10 right back, and to keep Buendia, who we know his quality is just brilliant. And the reason why, the fact that we've kept Buendia, Max Aarons, our other players at the top end of the pitch, Tim Krul and Teemu Pukki, means Norwich City have got a great chance of staying up. So full credit to Stuart Webber. The club's been run really well after a really difficult Premier League season, and we look set to keep all of our main players, which will give us the best possible chance of springing up to the Premier League and having fans again watching Premier League football later on in 2021, hopefully. In terms of deadline day news, though, Norwich City have signed a player, and we've signed Nyland, a goalkeeper from Aston Villa. Really interesting one, this. Of course, Michael McGovern's been given he's got a 3-4 month injury, which basically means he's out for the season. Dan Barden did very good in goal, but of course, did very well in goal. But of course, Dan Barden is young, and Norwich City don't want to quite give him the responsibility of being the second choice goalkeeper. So we signed Nyland on a short-term loan. The loan runs out at the end of the season, and I don't expect Norwich City to renew it. I think Nyland is just going to stay for the few months, get his match fitness back, because he has been suffering from injury, and then go on to better things. So we might not even see our new goalkeeper play, and in a weird kind of way, I hope he doesn't play, because that would be an injury to Tim Krul, and that would be devastating. But we know Tim Krul does occasionally get injuries here and there, so having a good second choice goalkeeper helps. Nyland comes in with a lot of experience. Of course, there was that infamous moment in the Aston Villa Sheffield United game where Nyland takes the ball behind his line, and Sheffield United should have got the goal, but of course the goal line technology didn't work, which is absolutely bonkers. And as a result of that, Aston Villa managed to stay up because of some dodgy goal line decision. And look how that's working out for them, because they would have lost Grealish, they would have lost all their good players. But now, they're flying high and got a really good chance of European football. It's funny how football can work sometimes. And as a result, I think Bournemouth would have stayed up. So yeah, really, really weird how football works sometimes. But it comes in with experience. A lot of Aston Villa fans don't really rate Nyland particularly highly, but as a second choice goalkeeper, as someone as a replacement, he could do it. He could do a good job. Clearly, they don't trust Dan Barden to have that responsibility if Tim Krul gets a long-term injury, which is understandable. But yeah, Nyland's an interesting one, and I hope he does well for Norwich. If he plays, but in an ideal world, you'd want Tim Krul to start every single game. And that's about it for the transfer deadline news. Norwich City don't look set to sign anyone. Josip Dermich and Mo Leitner have been players who've been forgotten about. Of course, Tom Tribal got his loan move to Blackburn. I think Norwich City are paying a large amount of his wages. So I'm really surprised Josip Dermich and Mo Leitner haven't found new clubs, because, particularly Mo Leitner, who's a really good player. And Josip Dermich has got a great track record, but his recent form's a lot to be desired. But I'm surprised they haven't been given moves. Josip Dermich's been linked to Birmingham, but there's nothing really happening there. So Mo Leitner and Josip Dermich may stay at the club. And that's about it for the deadline day news. In terms of turning our attention to the next league game, as I said, Millwall, 6 o'clock on Tuesday. Really looking forward to this one. Norwich City getting a draw against Middlesbrough, and they'll be looking to return to winning ways. In terms of Daniel Farke's team conference and press conference, are there injuries? No injuries. What? That's really weird with Norwich City. Yes, no injuries. Kenny McLean's back from COVID, which is good. And yeah, no new injury concerns for Norwich City. Really, really good to see. And Kenny McLean, I really do hope he's fit to play this game against Millwall, because he's been outstanding in recent weeks and one of the contenders for Player of the Month in January. Quintilla's coming back from injury as well. Interesting comments from Daniel Farker saying Quintilla needs to work harder, but he also said Quintilla's suffered quite badly from COVID, and I feel for Javi Quintilla because he's come to a new country and it's just not worked out with him with injuries. He's suffered from COVID quite badly as well, apparently. So it's just not worked out for him. But Janulis looks set to be kind of Norwich City's left back going forward. And yeah, in terms of Millwall, managed by Gary Rowett, had a difficult Christmas period, but they've recently recovered and have got a few decent results. They're in mid-table. I don't expect them to be going for top 6 football. I expect them to have a mid-table finish. But still, Millwall are a good team. Gary Rowett's a good manager. It's going to be a difficult game. Not quite as scary as intimidating when you've got 20,000 fans at the Den, but it'll still be a difficult game on what is set to be a very poor pitch, let's put it that way. I don't think the grounds would have been doing much work at the Den, put it that way. But yeah, Norwich City coming off the back of a 0-0 draw. 2 games now for Norwich City without a shot on target, which is quite alarming, but I don't think you could read too much into that. I mean, the FA Cup game was with a weak team, and the Middlesbrough game, we just got Neil Warnock. So I still think Norwich City will be absolutely fine, but of course they're going to be out with Emi Buendia, their main creative player, which is disappointing to see. Emi Buendia, that's his 3rd red card for Norwich in 6 months, and on the topic of Emi Buendia, he's a world-class player. He's a contender for the Championship Player of the Year, that's without a doubt. But one thing which Emi Buendia lacks is sometimes that attitude and temperament on the pitch. When things aren't going well for Emi Buendia, sometimes he can get frustrated, and sometimes he can go into tackles rash. I still don't think he deserved to be sent off, but you're always running a risk on a yellow card when Emi Buendia tackled the way he did. So yeah, and what's more disappointing is Emi Buendia is not just going to be missing for the Millwall game, but he's going to be missing for the Swansea game as well, which is absolutely gutting. Norwich City face on Saturday or Sunday. They've got Swansea, which is going to be absolutely huge. Of course, it kind of looks like a 3-4-way battle for the top 2 at the moment with us, Swansea, Brentford, and possibly Watford. And Swansea have looked brilliant this season. So yeah, I think the three teams to worry about if you're a neutral are Swansea and Brentford. So that's going to be a massive game against Swansea, and losing Emi Buendia is going to hurt. But let's hope we go into that Swansea game with confidence and with a win under our belts against Millwall. But of course, when you're missing the most creative player in the league, it's going to be slightly more difficult. And on that as well, Norwich City dropped points against Middlesbrough, and Brentford beat Wickham 7-2, and Swansea got a win as well. So that closes the gap. The gap of 6 points has now been closed to 4. And Norwich City are starting to look, over their shoulders again. In terms of the predicted lineup, Tim Krul in goal, back 4, Janulis, Hanley, Gibson and Aarons. Janulis on his debut I thought was decent, and hopefully he can put more runs forward because he was denied that against Millwall. I hope Kenny McLean returns in the middle alongside Oliver Skipp, who is also a contender for Norwich City Player of the Season. Skipp's been brilliant, and yeah, if Tottenham want to give us him, I would absolutely love that. Maybe if Mourinho leaves, the new manager could come in and not like Skipp and we could take him. I'm clutching at straws. I'm very clutching at straws. But yeah, Oliver Skipp's a great player. And then for me, I'd have Cantwell come in, or Cantwell stay in. Mario Rancic in that number 10 role, and bring in some pace. So someone like Ono Hernandez, Cantwell, and Rancic as well, and then Pukki up front. And I still feel that's more than a good enough team to build Millwall. In terms of a score prediction, I'm going to go for Millwall 0, Norwich City 2. I think defensively we've been brilliant. Gibson and Hanley have been a great partnership, and I can see Pukki getting 2 goals on the road because Pukki does love to score away from home. So that is my video previewing the Millwall game and going over the transfer deadline day business. Leave your thoughts down below on Norwich City transfer window as a whole. Have you thought it's been a good window? For me, it's been very impressive. Signing a new left back with a lot of promise and keeping your best players. You can't moan it too much for Stuart Webber for that. He's done a great job. And in this Millwall game, it's going to be an interesting one. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you're new to Norwich City Central. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you later talking about a great win. Thank you for watching. See you later.